Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I begin with the establishment of Bhikkhuni order, and there's a change, a new syllabus. I think you're not aware. They introduced three new topics, the three Buddhist council. That's why I have to amend my lessons a bit. So today, I will combine the Bhikkhuni order and the first Buddhist council. Then next week, I will share with you second and the third council, because councils is important, because one question will come out from here. Okay. So before I proceed, any questions? Nothing, huh? Okay, first thing, Bhikkhuni order. Bhikkhuni order begins. So before I begin, it's my habit to inform you the sources, whether primary source and the secondary source is important. Otherwise, you are not sure whether I'm teaching the right thing or wrong thing. It's always for you to trace back after the lessons. Okay, this is in accordance with the teaching of Buddha in the Kalama Sutta, as well as the Nibbana Sutta. You listen, you believe half, yes or not, true or not, you trace back to the sources. So for this topic, Bhikkhuni order, the most important source I call primary source, because normally you all refer to secondary source. For example, the Green Book by Narada, the one we consider as a secondary source. Important is the primary source. Here, the primary source, Pali Vinaya. Vinaya, about the monk's rule. The second book we call Khandaka, chapter 10. There are two books under Khandaka. One is Chulamagga, one is Mahamagga. So this topic of Bhikkhuni orders is in the Chulamagga 10 Khandaka, 10, chapter 10. Okay. Then I refer to the books translated by Price, David, and Herman Oldenburg. Okay. If possible, you get hold of this primary source. Then another primary source, if you don't have the Vinaya books, you can get hold of Anguttara Nikaya. Sorry, it's not Nikala, Nikaya. So chapter 8, Sutta 51, Anguttara Nikaya. There you can read about the formation of Bhikkhuni order. Okay, so then another source, you can refer to Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta 73, called Mahavaccagota Sutta. This one, Buddha talks about the woman's ability to gain enlightenment. Okay, this topic is relevant to this. This sutta is relevant to the topic Bhikkhuni order, because there Ananda asked Buddha about these questions, whether woman can gain enlightenment or not. You see, so we have to verify with this sutta also to support Ananda's question. Okay. Ananda's questions. Okay. Then the last book, most of you will have, I think it's easy to get, is entitled The Life of the Buddha by Nyanamoli. The Life of Buddha. Bhante Nyanamoli extracted all the relevant chapters, passages from Sutta. Sorry, it's not from Sutta, from Vinaya. And he compiled into this book everything about the life of Buddha. So get hold, if you can't get hold of Pali Vinaya, you try to get this book, The Life of Buddha by Nyanamoli. That's all. The rest, I will consider others as the secondary sources. But important, these four texts, or you go through these 4 textbooks or certain part of this textbook is good enough for this topic. Now, before we begin with the establishment of the Bhikkhuni order, we have to more or less know the cultural and social background of India during Buddha's time. I bring up this issue because sometimes in the exam, I have gone through the question paper. Sometimes they do ask you, about the woman's position. Because people say, why Buddha did not allow or not interested to let the woman to go forth? Because one thing we have to consider, one issue, the social background. If everybody is all the women not allowed to do this, not to allowed to do that, so suddenly you revolutionize and give the woman certain order, privilege, then people will question you, you see. So if Buddhism did not allow, then people will ask why you discriminate in it. So first thing, we must understand the background first. During those days, before the Bhikkhuni order was established, most of the people, regardless Buddhism or Jainism, or whether Brahmanism, especially Brahmanism, they disregard or they don't respect the woman as equally or as like a man, their status is very low. For example, in Brahmanism, they consider women as a full-time housewife, raise the children, take care of family, look after welfare of the children, the husband, that's all. They don't go out and work. And then spiritual-wise, they say, woman, you cannot gain enlightenment provided your husband help you and share merit with you. See? That's according to Brahmanism. They could not allowed to read Vedas. You see, Vedas, sacred books of the Brahmins. You see, so they could not perform. They could not take part to conduct the ceremony, rituals, etc. So, woman has very low spiritual rights as well as social rights during that time. You see, so it's understandable that before the formation of the Bhikkhuni order, Buddha tried to follow or adopt or at least respect to their social background or customs, the rights of the women during the time, you see. But all this have changed when his foster's mother, Mahasatipatthana Gautami, requested to go forth. So this thing happened on the 5th year after Buddha's enlightenment. Important, 5th year after Buddha's enlightenment. During that period, Buddha's father was very ill, very sick, you see, about to die. So the father, the king, Sudana, sent a man, came to Rajagaha. That time he was not in Rajagaha, in Vaisali, close, quite near to Magadha, to ask Buddha to go back and at least pay the family a visit, you see. So Buddha went back with a lot of his disciples and they stayed temporarily, for short terms, in a place called Nirodharama. Okay. First woman, before we talk about that, we just want to inform you, just to tell you that Buddhism was not the first religion to introduce the Bhikkhuni order. In fact, during that time, ancient India, Jainism was the first to introduce the Bhikkhuni. I mean, allowed the woman to go forth, you see. In fact, Jainism also slightly much earlier than Buddhism, you see. So they started the Bhikkhuni order first, before Buddhism, you see. So in Buddhism, the first one to be ordained, as you know, we are going to talk today, Mahasatipatthana. He was the aunt, the mother's sisters, as well as the foster mother of Buddha. So, fifth year, we have mentioned. And now we come back to the stories. Fifth year after enlightenment, the father requested Buddha to go back to the kingdom, you see, at least because the father was very sick, you see. The time Buddha was in Vesali, and the father's kingdom was in near Mada, Sakya kingdom. In fact, not kingdom, Sakya was a federated, something like federated nation. Capital Kapilavatthu, you see. So the whole group, Buddha plus the monks, they went back, travel on foot, they reached a place, and they put up in a place called Rama. Not very far, about 10 kilos from the capital, from the palace, Kapilavatthu, you see. So they put up there. So after that, the father passed away, being a lay Arahant, he passed away. And then after that, Buddha began to walk back or go back to his monastery in Vesali. So, but before he went back, this queen, foster mother, Mahapajapati Gautami, came to the place where Buddha stayed, and Rama, and requested permission to say, allow me to go from home to homelessness. That means she wanted to be ordained as a nun, you see. She went there and requested Buddha 3 times. Buddha turned down, you see. Why 3 times? Because in the book they always say 3 times this, 3 times that, like this tradition. Even circle ambulance also 3 times, you see. But regarding the request, 3 times the request are different Buddhist schools. Buddhist schools, they have different saying, different theories. Some say, according to Pali tradition, she requested 3 times. First time, second time, at the same time, 3 times together. One, reject, then request, then reject, then request, reject. But other school, they say, in Niroda Dharma, requested 1 time. Buddha about to leave the place, another request. On the road, another request. So never mind, I bring now a different tradition in case you read different books. Not books, most of you will read from the internet. Sometimes internet, they describe from different tradition, then you will get confused. So once and for all, just explain to you first, in case you read something different from the Pali tradition, probably it belongs to other Buddhist schools, you see. So Buddha rejected her request 3 times. So after that, they went back to Vesali. But other schools have different saying. Buddha, for example, the Lama Guttaka school said, Buddha went back to Jetawana. But the Pali text, and most of the texts will say Buddha and the Sangha went back to Vesali. You see, but your books, I think there's a slight error, maybe overlooked. Pante Narada. I think he wrote not here. Buddha went back to Vesali. He say Buddha's mother went to Rajagaha, but that one will come back again and discuss. So this was a place where Buddha stayed when he came back to Kapilavatthu. Kapilavatthu is today at a place called Tirolakot. But this place, Buddha did not stay in the Kapilavatthu town palace itself, but outskirts, a place called Kudan. That time, during that time, they did not call it Kudan. They call it Nirora Rama. It's a piece of forest. It's not forest, a flat land with some trees, so that people can build a temporary monastery there. So today, archaeology has discovered a place where Buddha stayed there before. It's called Kudan. So this place, you see,
the remains of the monastery at Kudan, about 100 yards away from the Rahula Stupa, Nepal, 26 November.
This temple was built later.
2014.
Not Buddha did not stay here, but this place, okay, Kudan. So later people built a monastery to commemorate the place where Buddha and the monks stay here. Nirola Rama. You see, it's not a dense forest, but a place suitable for people to build some monastery, temples, all these things. Nirora Rama. So this one, they are sidetracked a bit, you see. During that incident, when Buddha went back, remember or not, the Buddha's former wife, Yasodhara, told the son, Rahula, he say, follow that one was your father, you follow him, ask for inheritance, correct or not? Then the young boy followed Buddha. Buddha went back to the monastery, and the boy followed at the back. The story, I think you're aware in it. So after reaching this place, Buddha told Sariputta to ordain Rahula, correct or not? So Rahula was ordained at this place, Niroha Rama, and later a stupa was built to commemorate this incident whereby Sariputta ordained Rahula.
Stupa to commemorate the ordination of Rahula at Kudan. This is located at Kudan site, Nepal.
So I show these two videos to prove that the historical event did happen during that time. At least later people verified. You see. So now the story is that Buddha went back to Vesali, but leaving foster mother Mahaprajapati Gotami in Kapilavatthu. So, but she did not give up. She requested all her friends, all these, whether those who are interested to be ordained or to go from home to homeless, follow her to meet the Buddha and request Buddha again. You see, so all this group of people, the Pali text mentioned she and her group of people, followers, but sometimes you read the books, they mention 500 or not. I read some article, internet, they say 500 number 500 follower not mentioned in Pali's Vinaya. I think, for example, in other school, Mahasatipatthana, they mentioned 500. They say 500 Mahapajapati Gotami and 500 Sakyan ladies. They walk all the way to Versailles. Remember 500 not mentioned in Pali's text, but maybe in commentary, mentioned in other Buddhist school like Mahasatipatthana. The one is confirmed 500. You see. Okay, so Mahapajapati Gotami and a group of Sakyan followers walk all the way, from where? From Kapilavatthu to Vaisali. They cut off the hairs, dom, saffron robes, even though some other texts, when you read, you get confused. They say, she wore yellow saffron robe, others put on white robes. The one you don't bother. So far as the Pali text concerned, say Mahapajapati Gautami donned saffron robes and together with groups of Sakyan followers walk barefooted all the way to see Buddha at the Kuttagara Hall, the Pinnacle Hall, Mahawana Vaisali. Here, I have to inform you that your text mentioned maybe some technical overload or some problem, I don't know. Bante Narada, instead of Vaisali, he mentioned the ladies walk all the way to Rajagaha. You notice or not, your books mention Rajagaha? It's not Rajagaha, it's Vaisali. If you trace to the original Pali Vinaya text, or you check the Anguttara Nikaya, the chapter 8, or you check the Nanamori's books, which was based on the Pali Vinayas, all mention Vaisali and not Rajagaha. Okay, you take notes. Not only Bante Narada mentioned wrongly Rajagaha, even there are two Chinese texts are translated into Chinese. Also make the same mistakes. They also follow Narada's book and say and mention Rajagaha instead of Vaisali. So you take note. The correct answer is Vaisali. Because Buddha went back to Vaisali and stay in the Pinnacle Hall, Mahawana. So in order to see Buddha again and make a request again, they have to go to Vaisali. No. So they walk all the way. So upon arrival, I think from Kapilavatthu to walk all the way to Vaisali, even by bus, it will take the whole day, about 6 or 7 hours, more than 7 hours, at least 10 hours. But I don't know the time they have taken by walking from Tilaulakot to Vaisali. I think few weeks easily. So never mind, we don't bother about how long they spend there. So upon arrival, they stood outside the gate, you see, outside the entrance of the monastery. That's their custom. They could not enter straight away, you see, and knock at the door, wait outside the gate. And then they were sad, crying, the food all swollen, you see, weeping in tears. Then Ananda saw them, you see. The question. Now, before we talk about Ananda and the Sakya woman, we look at this place. This is a place where the ancient monastery, Pinnacle Hall, was located.
Ruins of ancient monastery near the Ananda Stupa and the monkey pond.
I think you have been to this place, Wesley, the Ananda Stupa, and the Asoka Pillar. This is a monkey pond. Monkey pond, there's a nice stories also, but not today. I'm not going to tell you. So at the end here, you see this the ruined Bhikkhuni temple at this place around here. Bhikkhuni's Vihara here. That was built later, not during Buddha's time, all this. But this site was the place where Buddha stayed. The time they call Kutagara Vihara, or translated as a pinnacle hall of Mahawana. Mahawana is the whole area they call Mahawana. So if I think you have visited this place before. Most of the people who go to this place, but they don't know the historical background or the significance of this place. Maybe this part, Bhikkhunis.
The place where Bhikkhuni was born.
Bhikkhuni's temple somewhere there.
Bhikkhuni Sangha order.
Somewhere here. This part.
No.
Yeah. Bhikkhuni. Then for 1,000 over years, 2,000 years, people have recognized this site as the place where Bhikkhuni order was established. Okay. So come back. See, just now we mentioned that the Sakyan follower and Prajapati Gautami, they have arrived or reached the pinnacle hall, stood outside the gate. See, Ananda saw them. You see, saw the sad, suffering Sakyan woman. He went to, first thing they asked why, what they wanted, you see. Then they say want to request Buddha to allow them to go forth, to be ordained as a nun. So before that, she was rejected 3 times. Now he come back and request again. So Ananda saw them. So he went and asked Buddha. He appeals on behalf of the women. So he asked 2 questions, you see. First, he asked Buddha, this request is very popular for the examiner. The examiner like to ask, what Ananda asked and how he convinced Buddha, you see. So first thing, Ananda asked Buddha, you see, the first one, are the women, when they have gone forth, are they capable of realizing the fruit, the arahantship? I mean, first starting from Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahanthood. First question. So this question is about whether the women are capable of gaining enlightenment or not. You see? So Buddha's answer say yes, affirmative. So not only in this Vinaya, Buddha say yes. People, you can trace back to Majjhima Nikaya Sutta number 73, they call Mahawacagota Sutta. In this sutta, Buddha also say the same thing. Woman, as well, where not only the man, the woman also can gain enlightenment. You see, if you are free, you can go back and read this sutta again. You see. So first thing, man, woman, man can gain enlightenment. They are spiritually equal. First thing. Second question, he asked, then Ananda follow up, you see, with the second question. He told Buddha, you see, Mahapajapati, have been helpful as your foster mother, you know, since your mother, after giving birth to you, passed away on the seventh day, right or not? She took over the duty, nurse you, and then give you milk, even though she herself got another baby, you see. But she let her baby and the other nurse to take care of her own baby. Then she spent her time to look after you. You see, explain to Buddha the past history lah. You see, this one the scholar call the debt of gratitude. So if you can't remember the whole thing, you just remember two questions. First question, the spiritual equilibrity or ability to gain enlightenment. Second, the depths of gratitude. You see, gratitude have to pay back lah. Buddha says, since the foster mother took good care of you, so there's time for you to, show your gratitude, pay back the debts. You see. So these two questions, in fact, these two questions are raised by Ananda, kind of favorite examiner's question. The whole thing about this, why Buddha changed his mind and allowed the woman to be ordained as nun. You see, I don't know. Buddha finally agreed, provided, but Buddha give certain conditions. You see, I can allow Mahapajapati Gautami to be ordained, to go forth and become a nun, provided she accepted the 8 Garurama. That means the heavy rules. The only condition for her, in the Pali text, remember, these 8 rules applies to her, because the text says that, Buddha says that, provided she accept the 8 rules. Buddha did not say, provided she herself as well as a group of Sakyam lady. In the text never say that. The text only say she herself. So only, that means only when, if she herself alone accept this 8 rule, then she considered as ordained already. No need to she bow down and then chant this, chant that. They are all together in the history of Buddhism, at least around 8 to 10 types of ordination, different formula. This is one of the examples. By accepting the 8 rules, it's considered as full ordination. You see? So the earliest Buddha only told, say for example, the five ascetics, friends, just say Buddha only pronounced, come and lead the brahmacharya life, then considers ordained. This is another form. Later, you have different methods. So when it comes to Mahapajapati Gautami, this type of ordination is again different. By accepting 8 Garurama rules, considered as fully ordained, only applies to her. Okay, that means going forth, Pavaja, as well as higher ordination, Upasampada. Okay, so Ananda went out and explained to Mahapajapati Gautami. So Buddha say, on condition that you accept the 8 rules, okay or not? Then she said, good, can. Then consider as ordained. So before we talk about the fate of other Sakyang ladies, we briefly explain or understand the 8 rules first. What are the 8 rules? First, Buddha say, a bhikkhuni, even you have been admitted and have 100 vasa, admitted for 100 years, 100 years standing. The text says 100 years standing, and not it live for 100 years. Some texts say it 100 years old. No, it means that even if a nun has been a bhikkhuni for 100 years, she still have to respect a bhikkhu who is admitted on that day itself. You see? Even one day or half a day, also you have to respect. But of course, people think that this is unfair, isn't it? But according to the Vinaya rules, they are exceptions. So we'll come back to exceptions afterwards. You see? Second rule, a bhikkhuni must not spend the rainy season in a locality where there are no monks. This one for security purpose, because those days in India, a lot of rape cases, not only today, those days also. In fact, it happened to the nuns. A lot of nuns been raped also because they spend their rainy season or when they wander alone. You see, they're quite dangerous during that time. So in order to protect the nuns, Buddha advocated this rule, you see. Don't spend your rainy season wasa without monks around. You see, second rule, a protection. Third, even half a month, every half a month, because under Vinaya rule, every fortnight, monks, they have to gather in a sima, within a locality, sima, official sima, and they have to decide or chant Patimokkha, Vinaya rule. That's a rule, even until today, you see. But the question is, so now, once you become a Buddha told this Mahasatipatthana, you should accept this rule every month, half a month, before the Uposatha day, you have to first ask the monk, what's the exact date for that ritual ceremony? Observant, they call observant. Uposatha means every half a month, all the monks get together and chant the Vinaya rules, the Pratimokha rules. And any mistake they have made during that period, they have to confess. You see. So in this case, the nun have to inquire from the order of monk the exact date and the time for this Uposatha. You see, why people say half a month easy, what? 2 weeks, but no, sometimes because of the calendar, they follow the moon. Sometimes it falls on the 14 day, sometimes 15 days, you see. So you have to confirm whether 14 or 15. So at which place, what time, so that they can attend, you see, the Uposatha. So this thing, the nun have to inquire and confirm with the monk first, you see. Third rule. Fourth, at the end of the Vasa, the last day, they call it a Pavarana, right or not? Pavarana day, that means at the end of Vasa, a nun have to gather in front of both order. First Bhikkhuni order, then monk's order, and confess. See, anything you have done wrongly during the 3 months Vasa. So that's a duty also. Both order, you see. So that day we call Pavarana. Pavarana days marks the end of the Vasa, okay? Monks and nuns come before the Sangha to confess for any wrongdoings done during the Vasa. Then after that, they have the Katina. Okay? So number 5, a nun offending any of these important rules, one of the 8 rules, they have to what? Undergo, they will be suspended temporarily, you know. After that, then only can be reinstated, you see. That these things involve both order. You have to, to be submit yourself in front of the Bhikkhuni order and also in front of the Bhikkhu order. You see, then you have your temporary suspension. After that, everything okay, then reinstate back as a nun. You see? So both order. Number 6, rule number 6, a nun should train herself in the 6 rules. You see, so after becoming a samaneri, before you go for higher ordination, you have to undergo at least 2 years as a trainee. You see, 6 rules. During this period, you observe 6 rules. These 6 rules, 5 precept plus abstinence from food during the forbidden hour. That means after noon, you cannot eat anymore. You see, the 6 rules. So monks they don't have these these rules, but then for nuns they have to undergo 2 years probation. You see, trainee, they call it trainee, sikapada. Okay, 5. 6. In no way should a nun abuse or find fault with a monk. Number 7. Number 8. Monk can admonish nun, but nun should not admonish monk. Why? People may say, oh, it's a bit unfair, but then there's a reason behind. According, just now the rule number 1, we say, what? We talk about a nun, even though 100 years as a nun, must respect a monk who has been ordained even for a day, right or not? But then there's an exception. You need not respect them, provided, you see, a nun does not have to bow to every monk, but only to a monk who is worthy of respect. You see? During Buddha's time, this rule is an exception to the rule, Garurama rule number 1. You see? Garurama rule, heavy rule number 1 say that must respect the junior monk, right or not? But this is the exception. If the monk is worthy of respect, only you respect. Even, however, junior, you see, not samanera, we are fully ordained monk for even 1 day. This story, okay lah, this one, no need. Then, why Buddha advocated these rules? First thing, according to the commentary, is a means of protection. For example, rule number 2, during Wasa, you have to stay at a place where there are monks to protect them, because during those days, as I told you, it's quite dangerous. So many rape cases, robberies, all these things for protection, security reasons. Then other rules seems to be, unfair to the nuns, but the commentary says that for nuns to cultivate their mental quality, to strengthen their mind, to make them concentrate, able them to reach awakening. Okay. So for Theravada, as I say, these 8 rules only applies to Mahapajapati Gautami, right or not? Provided she accepted this 8 rule, she was deemed to have been ordained by Buddha. But other Buddhist school, for example, Dhammaguttaka, he say this 8 rule applies to Buddha's foster mother, as well as those group of ladies who follow her from Kapilavatthu to Vaisali. Different school and different interpretation of this rule. But anyhow, for Theravada, you just remember this 8 heavy rule the Rama rules applies only to Prajapati Gautami. Then what happened to the other group of people? The one we discuss later. Any questions so far? Any questions?
Anyone want to ask any question?
Brother Yap?
Yes,
Brother Yap.
Brother Kelvin.
Yes.
Yes. Recognize.
Since these 8 rules, these are serious rules that applies
Yes, yes.
to Mahapajapati. So therefore, how could the rest of the groups of those who follow and also want to join forth to homelessness
You mean those
do not follow? It must follow because
must follow?
these
Yes.
are meant for protection,
Yeah.
right? Meant for protection, mental cultivation, and all those are actually beneficial to them. And also in place, like you said, where they reside during the Vasa, they must have monks. So I think it's for their protection. So I guess if it's applying to the queen, then it should apply to the rest.
As I say, from the Pali Vinaya text, if you copy, you trace out, only applies to Maha Prajapati Gautami. You want exact term, exact species. In the book here, if you check out the articles, books, Nyana Molis, all mention her alone. Different school or different interpretation. For example, I mentioned Dhammaguttaka. It say applies not only to Mahapajapati Gautami, as well as those ladies who follow her from Kapilavatthu to Vaisali. There's different schools interpretation. Otherwise, if all agree about the same theories, then there won't be any Buddhist school. No 18 school or 22 school. Right or not? All
This
appear because of different interpretation.
So this rule still applies until today?
Yes, yes. For Theravada, you have to follow these 8 rules. That's why the one reason that some monks in Thailand or Burma, Sri Lanka, they say, according to this rule, mentioned specifically, you have to follow both.
Mhm.
But later we discuss what happened to those 50. If Theravada's version says that this one apply to her, Gautami, what happened to her follower? Who will
Exactly.
them? In my initial slides, I didn't give you the answer. Now I will give you, we will discuss this. Wait. How to go?
Okay, thank you.
Minimize this. So, Buddha's reason for refusal. Before we answer others, why Buddha refused? There's a few reasons. First thing which we mentioned earlier, ancient custom, the Indian culture, to avoid misunderstanding by others people, to follow the traditions. Then there's one reason, not to allow women to go for or be ordained. The first reason, custom, cultures. Second thing, Buddha say, if by allowing them to go for to be ordained, the sasana will not last for 1,000 years, only 500 years. The second reason. But remember, according to Vinaya, Pali's text, Pali's primary text is 1,000 years, reduced to 500. But a lot of you, are you aware not when you read article in the internet here and there, always mention 5,000 to 2005. Correct or not? But actually in the early text, we call it early text, Vinaya, mentioned 500 and 1,000. And not 2005 and 5,000. So this theory from 5,000 to 2,000 come from where? From the commentary. Commentary, what are the commentary? Commentary are those texts mainly compiled in Sri Lanka about 800 years, 400-500 years after Buddha passed away, in Sinhalese version, some in Indian version. But this commentary were later translated, edited by commentator from India. For example, Buddhaghosa, Mahanama, Buddhadatta, Dhammapala, and so on. So when they went to Sri Lanka to translate into Pali, there was during 5th century Common Era onwards, about 800-900 years later, only translated this commentary from Sinhalese version into Pali version. But here, important thing is to say this commentary were compiled, were spoken or interpreted by the monks, not Buddha's word. The only interpretation based on the understanding of certain monks in the Mahavihara, Sri Lanka, and was translated much later by other monks, you see. So the commentary, what a commentary, just to interpret, because certain terms are not very clear in the sutta, ambiguous or controversial, or sometimes they want to explain certain passages, so they compile all this commentary. So people later collected all their saying, their interpretation into a book called commentary. First, in Sinhalese, most of them in Sinhalese, compiled in Mahavihara, Sri Lanka, kept there for a few hundred years. Later, when the Indian monks, Buddhaghosa, etc., went there, only they translated into Pali. So you can say that in this commentary, not Buddha Vachana, not from Buddha's mouth, but anyhow they are useful also. Sometimes help you to interpret, to understand the sutta and so on, you see. So, for example, in this case, Buddha say by admitting the woman into the Bhikkhuni order, the sasana will reduce from 1,000 to 500 years. But how commentator, a monk from Mahavihara, Sri Lanka, extended 5,000 years. Then it says from 5,000 years reduced to 2005. That's why in most of the book you read here, you say, by admitting this, Buddha says sasana decline, reduce, shorten from 5,000 years to 2005. You can say the commentary says that, but you cannot say Buddha says that 5,000 years become 2005 is wrong, you see. Buddha never say from 5,000 to 2005. Buddha only say from 1,000 to 500. The commentary say from 5,000 to 2005. You can only mention this. Don't make the technical error, because book say 5,000 to 2005. You say Buddha say 5,000 to 2005. That's wrong. You see? You can only say commentator or according to commentary from 5,000 to 2005. That's correct. But you want to mention Buddha's name, then you say according to Vinaya, Buddha say 1,000 to 500. You have to be careful with your answer. So I list down the commentary that mention 5,000 to 1,000. Okay, first is Dhammasangani. Dhammasangani is the first text Abhidhamma, Pali Abhidhamma. So this Dhammasangani, they have so many books, 7 books Abhidhamma, Dhammasangani, Vibhanga, Takatu, Yama, Takatawatu, also so on. But the first text, for all these texts, they compile the commentary. Vinaya also, they have a commentary called Samanta Pasadika. But this Dhammasangani commentary said that during first council, it was mentioned that sasana could last for 5,000 years. That's their interpretation, nothing to do with Buddha. Then next commentary, Vinaya, Samanta Pasadika. In this commentary, it's mentioned that 5,000 years reduced to 2005 because of the woman's establishment of the woman Bhikkhuni order. You see, not only in this commentary, most of commentary of Theragatha, commentary Anguttara Nikaya also mentioned 5,000 years. Commentary of Theragatha means those verses of the elder monks. This is a very ancient book, Theragatha. So all the commentary talk about 5,000 years to 2005. But Buddha did not say that. Buddha in the Vinaya only mentioned 1,000 to 500. Okay, I just point out, give you the example in case you say 5,000 years. Most of people say 5,000 years from where? You have to remember from the commentary. You don't know what commentary, you just mention a commentary. The late compilation, few hundred years after Buddha's Parivirtana. Okay, so you don't consider that as an authority, just for your reference. That's all. Then, secondly, this one popular exam question. Sometimes they always ask you, but not in your, I don't know, but in the diploma exam, diploma paper, I used to see the 2 reasons how Ananda convinced. They always say Buddha. You see, two things, right or not? First thing is the spiritual equality. That means women, whether just like men, they have the ability to gain enlightenment, as I mentioned to you. This one supported by Anasutta MN73, Vachakota Sutta. This one you can trace and read. So first reason, spiritual equality. This one is Buddhism different from Brahmanism. First thing, there are so many reasons. Important thing you can quote spiritual equality. Brahmanism say woman cannot, no way. They have to raise the family member. They have to depend on their husband to get married. They cannot touch the Veda, cannot perform the ceremony, rituals, sacrificial ceremony. One different between Brahmanism and Buddhism is that spiritual equality. So Ananda raised this very important issue. And secondly, he raised the depth of gratitude. Buddha was nurtured, raised, well taken care of by the foster mother, Mahapajapati Gautami. So there's a debt of gratitude. You have to pay back the debt, something like that, so that Buddha will feel compassionate. Okay. So 2 reasons you remember this. So for the whole topic lesson of Bhikkhunis, you have to pick up the important issues. So why Buddha changed his mind? How Ananda convinced them, you see? 2 things. You want to add something? Okay lah. Now the thing is that when Mahapajapati Gautami accepted the 8 rules, she was considered as ordained, received full ordination, right or not? Pavaja as well as Upasampada. lower and higher ordination, and not her followers, second ladies. By the way, some other article or books you read, they say, oh, second and Korean ladies, but Pali text only says that second ladies. In the internet, you all used to always like to read. A lot of different answer comes out and confuse you, So I try to explain everything together in case you read something different, must be from other schools' interpretations. But from Pali's, I list down all this all strictly from Pali Vinaya. Okay, so the story is that when Mahapajapati Gautami accepted the 8 rules, she became full-fledged Bhikkhuni. But you cannot say the Bhikkhuni order has been established. Right? Sometimes we read the books, all this, they only stop there, They say by accepting this, Bhikkhuni order has been established. Now, you should ask then, can she alone constitute a Bhikkhuni order or not? Can a person make up an order? Cannot, innit? How many? How many people, what's the quorum? Minimum number of monk or nun can be considered as an order, Sangha. Any questions? Yes, Kelvin? Juliana?
Just
What's
explain
the number? Minimum number.
in this Brahmanism.
Sister Lan
I'm
Hun say
guessing
3.
5.
No.
5.
I guess 5.
For me, it's 5.
Any others answer? Why 5? You must give a reason.
From the chat got one say 3.
Now one says why 3? Any example you can quote from the text to support your answer? Otherwise guessing.
5 is the first 5 monks. That was my guess. The first 5 monks that formed the Sangha in the very beginning.
Any others answer? No. 3, 5. But answer is 4. 5, you must differentiate. 5 means the minimum number of monks that can conduct the ordination. This is 5, minimum. But normally 10 to conduct ordination. But Buddha says that, according to Vinaya, in the remote places where you can't find enough monks, like Sri Lanka, when Mahinda went there, then 5, they allow 5 to carry the ordination. But this is ordination, you see. But to gather every fortnightly to chant the Vinaya Pratimokha rules, I mean to take part in the Uposatha, the number is 4. Is enough to constitute what we call a Sangha order. 5 is for ordination. 4 is enough to carry out the Uposatha. That is 4. So the minimum is 4. So even in a schism, split or Sangha, 4 enough already. They can move out and they can conduct their own Uposatha rules every 2 weeks. So 4 is a minimum number. We say to constitute a Sangha in order to carry out a religious activity like Uposatha. But they cannot ordain new monk because 4, why not? They can find another monk, make it 5 for ordination purpose. But 4 enough to carry out the Uposatha ceremony. Okay? So in this case, Mahapajapati alone, she accepted the 8 rule. She became the first Bhikkhuni under Theravada during Buddha's time. But Buddha never says that she alone can be considered as a Sangha. So what happened to of course, he has to wait for other followers. She got quite a lot of followers walk all the way from Kapilavatthu to Vesali, correct or not? What happened to the other ladies? She must wait for others to be ordained. Then we can say Bhikkhuni order was hereby established, correct or not? So what happened to the rest? How? What happened? Who followed them to Vesali? Who ordained them? The best choice, best answer is, since she was alone, and Buddha didn't ordain the group, the other ladies, so must be the monk. So according to the text says that her follower were subsequently later ordained by the monk. And Mahapajapati Gautami acted as a teacher, teacher of those new nuns. You need a teacher, right or not, to teach them the Vinaya, teach them the Suttas for the new nun. Must be one teacher. So 10 monks ordained the rest of the Sakyan ladies, and Mahapajapati Gautami acted as their teachers. So now, what significance, if you want to apply this rule to the modern Bhikkhuni Sangha? Some scholar brought up this historical event. He said, even though during Buddha's time, when the order was just started, so also you cannot say never existed before. Just like now, you say the order has been terminated or stopped already. So how to reinstate? Then they apply back to Buddha's time, the case. That time was no Bhikkhuni Sangha. So how to ordain those new nuns, right? No. So they follow the examples. Monk alone ordinate those Sakyan ladies. Then another group of modern Theravada monks say that this 8 rules says that you have to follow the 2 orders, correct or not? So now chicken egg situation. So one party quoted the 8 heavy rules, saying that you must be ordained or you must appear in both order. But without this order, you cannot form. So the other group says that during Buddha's time, and now the situation just like Buddha's time, the Bhikkhuni order just started, right? No nun. So let the monk ordain them first. Then only you can form the order. So now is the argument. So any question regarding this?
Sorry, Brother Yap. Regarding the first reason that what should I call out of gratitude that the Buddha has accepted his stepmother, is there any text that can we can relate to?
I forgot the title of the text, but I just read the article saying that in fact Buddha say he had already paid back the debt earlier on by preaching her Dharma. And the title of the sutta or text I can't remember. By preaching her, he explained the sutta, he's already paid back, considered paying back the debts already. So Ananda should not bring up this point again, something like that. But I'm yet to find out the text to prove that.
Okay.
Secondary source, not the primary source.
Okay. Okay. Because I thought before she was become a bhikkhuni, the Buddha also gave some discourse when he went back to Kapilavatthu, right? So is that considered as giving her the Dharma, preach her the Dharma?
You can say that, but according to the text says that once Buddha preached her on Dharma, taught her all the Dharma, is considered as being back already. There's another theory that I read. But to allow her to become a bhikkhuni, you can say that it's true according to interpretation. That's also true. You see. Allow her to become this and preaching her dharma, also more or less the same, you know.
So it's more of an interpretation rather than a
It's an
kind of a
interpretation.
exact reason. Can I put it that way? Okay.
Because this, I brought up this because in the text it mentioned this.
Right.
Because in the Pali Vinaya mentioned this. Ananda specifically mentioned this issue.
Right.
Whether what you interpreted and what you mentioned and what I mentioned earlier on, that one yet to be confirmed.
Okay.
Because all this information I have to follow the Vinaya text.
Sure. Thank you, Brother Yap.
Then,
Brother Yap, can I just
Yeah.
ask? One of Buddha's reason for refusal was that you said that as a result of women entering the order, Buddha said that as a result of women entering the order, the Dharma and discipline, which otherwise would have lasted for 1,000 years, will only last 500 years.
yeah.
How would that be so?
Sorry?
No, under Buddha's reason for refusal,
Yeah. From 1,000 to 500, yeah. According to Vinaya.
yeah, why? Why should because the women entered the order, why should this happen? Why would this happen?
I think one of the slides I forgot to explain to you. Buddha give one simile, you know. Just like a house, if you at first few men, suddenly got too many women, only one man, it become dangerous. Try to go back to the slides simile. This one appears in the Pali text. It's not my word. Simile given by Buddha is like a household that have many women and few men. These are easily assaulted by robbers. You see? So that means that if a household with a few sangha, suddenly you add in the bhikkhuni, then something like this case, you know. Thus, Buddha's initial refusal, worry for the safety of the wandering nun, also ancient American. Indirect answer, Buddha give you. I mean, extra worries for the Sangha members. Is it so? You think it's okay?
No, I don't think it's likely so.
But unfortunately, this statement is taken from the Vinaya. So I don't dispute what the compiler of the Vinaya text. But if you think that this Vinaya text is Buddha's word, then you accept it. If you think it's not correct, then maybe up to you. You see. One thing I want to tell you, this statement, this sentence taken directly from the Vinaya. Second is my own word. Okay, first council, because your new syllabus require you to study first, second, and third councils. We'll get 3 councils, and one question, I believe one question will come out. These 3 councils all grouped under not doctrine, under the history. And history in Buddhism is very important, mind you. A lot of people say, what for you study history of Buddhism? I can help you to gain enlightenment and so on and so forth. But without history, history point out that indirectly allow you to gain enlightenment because you point out the exact way. Otherwise, without studying history, non-Buddha's teaching also, you don't know, you consider Buddha's teaching and so on. Through Buddha's teaching, you say non-Buddha's teaching, so on and so forth. But before that, I have to point out the main sources for this first Buddhist council. Again, we have to refer back to Chulawaga, the second or third book of Pali Vinaya. Again, just now Bhikkhuni order, chapter 10. Now, chapter 11, Khandaka. If you have the book by Herman Oldenburg or Thomas Rice Levy, you turn to page 370, 381. Okay. I encourage you to refer to the original text if possible. Never mind. So, what's the meaning of council? Council doesn't mean refer to a committee. Here, Buddhist council means meeting, a general meeting, AGM or something like that. It refers to a Sangiti. During important meeting, Buddhist meeting, they always, at the end of meeting, always chant together Dhamma Vinaya. Okay. So, in the history of Theravada Buddhism, there are total, until today, the recognized 6 councils. First three council of Theravada tradition was held in India. Then the 4th one in Sri Lanka, Matale. 5th in Mandalay, Burma. 6th in Yangon, Burma. So altogether 6 Theravada tradition. Other school of tradition, they have different place. Okay. Then first council. Today we talk about first. Next week we talk about second and third. So your syllabus never mentioned 4th, 5th, 6th, up to third council. That's all. So for this Buddhist council, you can't find any information from the Narada's green book. You can only get from the small booklet, Manual of Buddhism by Narada, the small book. I don't know whether you have or not. You should. But anyhow, you don't have the book also, never mind. Read the slides here is good enough. The first council was held 3 months after Buddha's Parinibbana, you see, where Satapani cave, Rajagaha, it lasted for 7 months. This council sponsored by Ajatasattu, attended by 500 Arahants. But why monks have to gather and attend the council meeting? In fact, the AGM, the council throughout the region, mainly because there are some happenings. So in this case, the first council, we have to find out why monks call for this council meeting. You see, normally meeting, they have to, the main purpose is concern the Dharma and the teaching and the Vinaya. Okay. So first of all, we have to talk about the causes. What are the factors involved? Why call up the first council meeting? So according to Vinaya, Pali's text, it says that one day after Buddha passed away in this Kusinara, outskirts Kusinara, between 2 sala trees. Okay. So that time, Mahakassapa was not around. You see? In fact, he and his disciples, 500 disciples, was on the way back from Pawa to Kusinara. Where is Pawa? Pawa is about 15 kilo away from Kusinara. The Pawa is important in the sense that why Pawa is important? Not because Mahakassapa was there when Buddha passed away. Pawa was important because Buddha had the last meal there. You remember, innit? He eat the tender pork, all this Pawa. So we leave that story aside. So when Mahakassapa was traveling from Pawa back to Kusinara, he met an ascetic during Buddha's time, there are so many groups, so many sects, so many philosophical schools. So one of the schools they call Ajivaka. So Ajivaka sect, there was a monk, a naked ascetic of Ajivaka. So Mahakasapa saw him. Why this monk why this ascetic was attracted by Mahakasapa? Because Mahakasapa saw him holding a celestial flower called Mandarava. He was wondering, must something happen? Otherwise, this celestial heavenly flower fell onto the earth. What? Why? Something must have happened. Something important must happen. So he stopped the ascetic and asked him, where you got the flower? Why? Then the ascetic, Ajivaka ascetic, told Mahakasapa, oh, you didn't know the Buddha passed away outskirts of Kusinara. A lot of flowers fell down from heaven to mark the important occasion. So I just pick up this flower along, you see. Oh, then Mahakasapa and the monks heard the sad news, you know. So what happened to Mahakasapa and the disciples? Some disciples were enlightened by Mahakasapa. So of course they don't cry and feel sad, this jump here and there. So enlightened monk, when they heard about this sad news, they just meditated and deflected. Oh, everything, all conditioned things are impermanent. Sakawata, Sankara, anything. Those they don't cry, they don't weep, they don't shed tears and shout around. You see? Whereas ordinary monk different, because Mahakasapa's disciples, some enlightened, some not enlightened. So enlightened, they remain calm and meditated. You see, those new monks, not enlightened monks, they behave differently. Some of them cry aloud, pulling the hair. You know, in the text they always say this monk beat their chest, feeling sad, shouting. Some roll on the floor, something like that. You see, pull their hair. So different group of monks behave differently. But there's another exception. You see, there was one monk, old monk, unenlightened, not enlightened yet. Of course, he did not defect on the impermanent. He did not cry and jump around. You know what he say? The monk called Subhada. He rejoiced. You know, he was shouting, oh, good. From now on, our master passed away. Good. From now on, nobody can tell us to do this, do that, not to do this, not to do that. You see, now we are free. We can do whatever we like. You know, he was very happy. Now the question is, who is this Subhada? In case you don't confuse yourself, to differentiate. Is there another Subhada? You have finished the life of Buddha in it.
Yeah,
Yes, there's another Subhada. Yes, there's another Subhada.
Another Subhada. Who was the Subhada? The last convert. This Subhada is different from that Subhada. Don't get confused. So this another Subhada. That's why so many Ananda, so many Dhammapala. Don't get confused. So this Subhada was a new monk, newly ordained by Mahakasapa. He was an old monk also. He rejoiced because this old man, new monk, he couldn't stand or not to do this and that. That's why he came out with this shocking verses. He rejoiced. He said, instead of be silent or feel sad. Then Mahakasapa, what happened? He overheard. He said, oh yeah, this new monk say like that. He was very careful, felt alarmed, surprised. You see, if every monk follow his example, follow this Subhada's example, then it shows that discipline will loosen, and sooner or later the Sangha will disintegrate or split. You see, if no actions were to be taken, right or not, this thing will happen. Wrong Dharma will creep in, and then discipline loosen, and then Sangha split. That's a dangerous thing, you see. So the whole group rushed back to Kusinara. And after the cremation and after the distribution of relics, so next event, Mahakasapa told all the monks there who attended the ceremony, you see, that he said, all the monks here, we decided to call a meeting that we call council lah. They told all the monks they want to gather after Buddha passed away. Now we have to think, and we have to gather, think of our future. You see, so he got an idea. Want to select 500 Arahant monks to attend the council, the meeting, because otherwise few thousand are all crowded and difficult to manage to control. So he selected 499 first. Then other monks said, wait, Ananda must attend, because Ananda not Arahant, not an Arahant yet at that moment. That's why Mahakasapa select. At first he not Ananda, but the other monk said cannot. He must let Ananda attend, even though he was not an Arahant at that moment. You see, he was only a Sotapanna. You see, even though he followed 25 years as a personal attendant of Buddha, he heard all the sutta from Buddha. So it will be fair, because he can explain and decide all the sutta that other monks know, you see. That's the reason. That's why Mahakasapa at first selected 499 Arahant, then the last one, he included Ananda, even though he was not an Arahant yet. So the next thing, the monk decided the venue, or they say venue, we should choose this, we have to go to Rajagaha, the capital of Magadha, because King Ajatasattu supported Buddhism. The country was very powerful, enough material, enough praise for all the 500 monks. You see, so they have decided to go to Rajagaha, and Mahakasapa told other monks, not selected, you don't go there to spend your vasa there. Only these 500 will go there. You see, so all the monks dispersed and walked separately to Rajagaha, and they had selected a particular site, Satapani cave, because it's rainy season. After Buddha's passed away, very soon, if you want to meet for not only one day, spend months and months, by the time you walk there, it's already rainy season. So they have to choose the cave. The cave outskirt of Rajagaha, Vaibara Hill at the top there. There were a group of 7 caves. That's why they call Satapani cave, you see. So they went to the cave there. So, but then Ananda still not an Arahant until the last minute. So now they have decided to praise the cave. So as the time passes, one day before the actual meeting, so Ananda keep practicing. He said everyone Arahant. He was not Arahant. He keep practicing hard, very hard. So the night before the meeting, he practiced until early morning. Too tired, still not enlightened yet. Too tired. So he decided to rest, sleep first. So before he lie down on the bed, those days the bed of stone one, before his head touch the pillow, and while the legs raise up the air, half, half lah, before he sleep and after raising the legs, suddenly he gained enlightenment, you see. He reflected slowly, the body slowly contemplate his body for the whole night, and then before he lie down, he gained enlightenment. While the legs is on the air and before the head touch the pillow, okay, he gained enlightenment just in time before the meeting. So this is the Satipani cave. I don't know whether you have visited this place or not. You all should go. It's on the top of Waibara Hills, outskirts of Rajagaha, not very far from Bamboo Grove. If you have visited the Mahakasapa stone house, as well as the spring, the spring, hot spring where Bhikkhu used to bathe there, the same place, also near the Waibara Hill. So in fact, the hot spring at the bottom, at the foothill, you climb up slightly higher Mahakasapa's stone house, and you keep climbing up until the summit, then you reach the Satipani cave. There were 7 caves, together. Last time we went there.
Satipani cave, the place where the first Buddhist council was held. It's on the top of Baiba.
2014, we were there then. Juliana, you are here. Juliana here.
There are 7 caves here.
Yes, brother, yeah, I remember. Very steep, want to go up there also, not easy.
So you see your face or not here?
Cannot see lah, like end only.
There you raise your hand one there. There you at the back there. There you. Yeah. So your gang all here. So
yes.
First cave, second cave, 7 cave here. So the monk have their meeting in this place. Inside the cave must be lah, because the outside was a quite narrow space. So Satipana cave, the place where the first council was held, you see. So Ananda attained arahantship. So next early morning, all the 500 arahant, now Ananda was arahant, gather at this Satipani cave. So the proceedings, Mahakasapa chaired a meeting, okay. So the first agenda, he requested Upali to decide Vinaya first, okay. So Venerable Upali started reciting the monk's rule, beginning with the 4 parajika, the serious rule, the major offenses. No sexual misconduct, no lying, no stealing, no etc. Claim to be arahant or something like that. So he started with this 4 serious offense first. So Mahakasapa had questioned him. Whenever he raised the first rule, then Mahakasapa will question him, where was this rule occurred or began, or who were involved, regarding what sort of rules, what sort of offenses, any exemptions or not. So one by one, this Upali explained. For example, he asked for first rule, sexual misconduct, that happened by because of a certain monk, Sulina, sex with a former wife, because the mother-in-law say you must give her an offspring. You know the story lah. I just quote one example lah. Upali say the first rule concerns sexual misconduct. The the story was that Sunanda, the person concerned was Vener Surina, went back, went for alms round near his house, and then the mother-in-law saw him, invited him to come in for alms food, and then told the wife, asked him to spend one night, and so that he can get offspring or grandchildren later. Because of this, he committed a serious offense. But any action taken against him? No. Never mind. This one is about Vinaya. We don't talk about Vinaya rule. Because first offense, first thing, there's no precedent. So cannot penalize him. But this story explains the beginning of the Vinaya rules. Okay. So Upali have to explain the background of each and every rule that he decided to all the 500 to 499 others Arahant. So he decided, Kassapa questioned him regarding all this. So every rule, after the 4 Parajika, then 13 Sangalisaka, then Pasitya, then 200 overrules, according to the Pali text. Okay? So, place, subject, occasion, a person concerned, the principal rules concerned, amended rule, exemption, who guilty, who are those innocent, everything he explained in details, one after another. So next, everything he explained, then when all the rules have been decided by Upali, questioned by Mahakasapa, then explained by Upali, 200 overrule all explained. Then next agenda, Mahakasapa invited Vener Ananda, who can memorize all the sutta he heard from Buddha. You see, so Ananda decided Dhamma. He began with the first sutta, Brahmajala Sutta. This one is the sutta number 1 in Dika Nikaya. Okay, so he decided after the citation, then Mahakasapa asked him, where, and when this sutta was delivered. So Ananda had to explain now. This Brahmajala Sutta was delivered by Buddha Ambalatika at a place called Ambalatika. Is somewhere between Rajagaha and Naranda. You see, between Ambalatika, between Rajagaha and Naranda. Some a small town in between. Okay. Then after reciting the Brahmajala Sutta, and after explaining the background, then he decided the second one. Second one, Samana Pala Sutta at Mango Grove, Dr. Jivaka's Mango Grove, Rajagaha. This Mango Grove was located at the foothill of Vulture Peak. Have you visited? I didn't show you a photo. Never mind. So the second sutta was decided there, Samana Pala Sutta. So he explained to whom Jatasatu involved, the place, Mango Grove, Rajagaha, the time, one night, and so on and so on. Then one after another sutta. But then you have to remember, according to Pali Vinaya, only sutta and Vinaya were decided by sutta by Ananda, Vinaya by Upali. That's all. No mention about the Abhidhamma, the citation of Abhidhamma. But according to commentary, again a commentary, the later text of commentary always add in some things, something new. Commentary say, all the Tipitaka have been decided during the first council. But that is according to their Pali tradition. you have to differentiate between history and tradition. Even though they say this is a tradition, but if you want to trace back to the early text Pali Vinaya, there's nothing about Abhidhamma being decided during the first council. Just remember, the tradition are not mentioned in the Vinaya, only mentioned in a commentary that Abhidhamma had been decided during the first council. Commentary, okay? So after Upali and after Ananda, what happened? Then they come to the third agenda. Third agenda regarding the minor rules. Minor rules, in the meeting, Ananda informed the rest of the Sangha. He said, oh, before Paridipana, Buddha told me, while traveling from where? From Vaisali to Kusinara before his Paridipana. In fact, during the period, 3 months, they mentioned in the Paridipana Sutta that Buddha told Ananda that minor rule, if the Sangha wishes lesser and minor rule, we can ignore it, or can be ignored, can delete, or can forget about it. It's after his death. Ananda informed the meeting. But then people ask him, do you ask Buddha which were the lesser rule, minor rule, which one major? Ananda say, no. I forgot to ask him. Buddha just say minor rules only. So people become doubtful. They begin to argue whether to go off, whether to forget about rules or not. Some say cannot. Some say yes. Then yes, what are the minor rules? Which are the minor rules? Nobody can explain. So all argue. Then finally Mahakassapa make a decision. He was the chairman. He chaired the meeting. He can decide. You see, okay. Since nobody can give a clear interpretation regarding the minor rule, so in order not to let the lay people, complain or have a misunderstanding, we better keep the minor rule also. We don't change it. So whatever rule have been passed, we keep, and no other new rule can be added in. So everything remains status quo. You see, the reason is that some of the rules may concern the lay people. If you give up or delete it or forget all this minor rule is concerned with lay people. People complain, people misunderstand. They say, after Buddha passed away, you start forgetting about a rule, you become lapse, this and that. So people criticize the Sangha in order to prevent misunderstanding. So everything remains the same. So the third agenda, minor rule remains the same. No increase, no reduction. The fourth one, so three agenda, the fourth agenda regarding the charges against Ananda. Then during a meeting, the monks brought up this issue. They all accused Ananda 5 or 6 charges. First, they say regarding a minor rule. Why didn't you ask Buddha which were the lesser rules? Which one you can forget about it? Which one you must stick to it? Ananda said, I forgot because why? He too sad at the time Buddha. Because Buddha spoke to him, spoke to Ananda during the period, from Vaisali to Kusinara. That time Buddha was sick, after Pawa. Buddha was very ill, Ananda was very sad. So he forgot to ask Buddha about the detailed rules, you see. So people want to But anyhow, you see, out of faith, out of good faith, I agree, this is my mistake, you see. Even though he explained, give good reasons, he say, out of good faith, I acknowledge it's my mistake. He say, okay. Then second charge. Second charge, people brought up one incident. He say, Ananda, one time I saw you treading on, let me step onto the garment of Buddha during the Wasa time, I think, by sewing the new ropes, you see. Ananda explained, during that time, he was alone, sewing the garment, the ropes. Nobody helped me, so no choice. Sometimes he had to step on it to get it flattened or something like that. Second chance. So, but anyhow, out of good faith, I agree, make mistake. You see, that was my mistakes. So third charge, people accuse him again. The monk who attended the meeting accused him. Why you let the woman to salute Buddha's body remain first? The incident happens when Buddha passed away in the Sala Grove, between two Sala trees. Then Ananda informed the people in the town there, Kusinara. So women, children, everybody came to pay last respect to Buddha first. Why not? All full of people. So Ananda allowed the woman to salute the Buddha's remain first. Why? He should ask the monk or other people first. Ananda explained, oh, the time was too late, too many people. I didn't want them to wait for such a long time. Then salute first, then go back first. This reason. But anyhow, I agree that I made a mistake out of good faith. Something he agreed that a mistake. 3 charges. The fourth, then again some Arahant mentioned, accused him. Also the incident during the time when Buddha and the monk traveled from Vaisali to Kusinara, the 3 months. They made according to the Mahaparinibbana Sutta. During that time, Buddha, one day Buddha told Ananda, you see, that if you requested me to live longer, I can live for another eon. Why not? But Ananda, 3 times, Buddha hinted to Ananda, but Ananda did not request. Now people accuse him. Why? Otherwise, Buddha is still around to teach us. Ananda explained that time he was influenced by Mara. Mara got power, psychic power, because Ananda not Arahant yet. So influence him, not open and request Buddha, he said. But out of gratitude, out of faith, good faith, I agree, my mistake, you see. So 4 charges. So the 5th charge, why he appealed on behalf of the woman regarding the formation, asked Buddha to admit the woman into the order. Just how we explained, right or not? Then Ananda explained, because the Mahapajapati Gautami acted as a foster mother, took good care of Buddha when he was young, this and that. Want Buddha to be compassionate to her, allow her to be ordained, explain all the things. That's the reason. And I help her because Gautami was a foster mother. So anyhow, out of good faith, it was my mistake. I agree. Yeah, apologize. Then the last charge, no last charge. Then all these offenses are not enforceable because Ananda, during the meeting, Ananda already became Arahant, enlightened as Arahant. You cannot penalize or enforce any charges against Arahant. I know. So after this charges, the fifth agenda, charges against Chanya. Chanya, as you know, was a charioteer of Buddha in it. And, not Buddha, we cannot say Buddha. Prince Siddhartha. Technically, we say Prince Siddhartha. So he was a charioteer. Accompany Prince Siddhartha, who left the eastern gate of the palace, went to Anoma river bank, Anoma river. Then after cutting hair, let Chanya took back the clothing, this and that, you know, the Chanya. So Chanya was very arrogant because with Prince Siddhartha for quite some time, you see. So he later also ordained as a monk, to follow Buddha. So he was arrogant because he was a charioteer of Prince Siddhartha before. You see? So Ananda told the meeting, but then you have to know Chanya not Arahant yet during the meeting. So he was not in the Satipatthana cave. You see, he did not attend a meeting, but the meeting only brought up these charges, and that Ananda told the meeting that before that Buddha wanted Chanya to be penalized, to be punished, to be imposed with the highest penalty, you know. When these charges were brought up during a meeting, Ananda also told a meeting about this. So the meeting passed a resolution. They have decided the highest charge against Chanya. Highest charge means excommunication. Then everybody boycott this Chanya. Don't mix with him. Don't associate with him. You see. So after the meeting, Ananda told Chanya was not in the meeting. Say, during the meeting, resolution was brought up regarding your attitude, and the meeting has decided to excommunicate you. You see, Chanya was told by Ananda outside after the meeting. So Chanya feel very sad, shameful, and then he ran away and practiced hard, practiced alone, and later only he became Arahant. You see, and of course, once he attained Arahantship, the charges be dropped, not enforceable, cannot enforce on him. Before they carry out the charges, he already attained Arahantship. See, so the fifth agenda. First, Upali decided rules. Ananda decided Dhamma, regarding the minor rules, and charges against Ananda, charges against Chanya. That's all. You see, the meeting over. So all these things have been discussed, and they never drop any minor rules. So people have listened to whatever Buddha has taught them regarding the Sutta, the Dhamma, and the Vinaya rule. So before they left the cave, all the 500 Arahants have to decide together, you know, all the rules and all the Sutta teaching, Dhamma teaching, the Kosangiti, have to decide in unison, group chanting together. After that, they memorize. Of course, this is according to the Vinaya early text, but the later commentaries add in some extra info. He said the commentary said, during a meeting, first a lot of things they added in, or they say Abhidhamma also decided during a meeting, or meeting, but meetings mentioned five Nikaya were decided. But scholars, of course, the scholars say, five Nikaya were in fact compiled after that. So this is a scholar's opinion regarding the compilation of five Buddha's teaching into five Nikaya. You see, even though the Vinaya mentioned five collection, they say five collection have been decided. And the commentary say five Nikaya, and all the rules, including the Parivara. By the way, the existing version of Pali Vinaya consists of three main volumes: Sutta Vibhanga, Khandaka, Parivara. Sutta Vibhanga, you can subdivide into Bhikkhu Vibhanga, Bhikkhuni Vibhanga. Khandaka, you have, just now I mentioned, you have Chulavaga and Mahavaga. Then the last text, Parivara. Five texts, ultimately. Even though the tradition says that all the five texts of Vinaya have been decided, and all the five Nikaya have been decided, and as well as Abhidhamma also decided by all the monks during the meeting. There's according to the commentary, even though the Pali Vinaya says slightly different, no Abhidhamma, never mention the Parivara, only says other rules. Patimokkha rules and certain Khandaka rules, that's all. But we don't go into that details unless you are doing a diploma or BA or MA. But just that you know, commentary differs from the early text, that's all. Then commentary also mentions so many things. You need not memorize all this. I don't think an exam will ask you to that details, you see. Even though from the manual, the books here, the manuals are quite simple only. You are not required to memorize all these things. You see, according to the commentary, it says that five groups of rules, Parajika rules, Pasitya rules, and all other Patimokkha rules, all memorized. Mahavaga also memorized, Chulavaga also memorized, Parivara also memorized. Everything memorized during meeting. But not all this is mentioned in the Pali text, Vinaya text, only certain rules mentioned in Pali text, and especially Parivara, not mentioned in the early text, because this text was compiled much later in Sri Lanka. Of course, not during the early time, Buddha's time. Okay. Historical significance, when you study about the first council, of course, people won't ask you all the detailed charges against Ananda, charges. But important thing people want to know, what are the why this first council was important, historical significances of first council. What are the causes? These few issues are important. So at least two you have to remember. During the first council, important thing is that Buddha's Sutta and Vinaya rules were first time in the history of Buddhism. First time systematically compiled and settled. And everything decided in order, you see, rather than you know some rules, I know some rules, he claim to know some sutta, I claim to know this sutta, everyone start arguing in it, right? Not so this meeting, the main purpose is that all the people knows that, all the arahant and monks knows that these are the sutta, these are the rules officially spoken by Buddha. Everyone remember. And commentary further says what, after the first council, the disciple Ananda responsible to memorize this Nikaya, Kasapa memorized that, disciple Nikaya, and then this and that, all not mentioned in the Vinaya, in the text, early text, but in later text. That one we don't go into details. So the the important decision is to retain all the minor rules. You see, there's no change, no such thing as additional rule or delete any or give up certain rules. Nothing. Everything, whatever mentioned in the Vinaya today, yes, follow. You see, Theravada say 227, but Mahasanghika school less than 227. Lama Guttaka, Mahisasaka, more rules. You see, so as a Theravada, you follow the 227 enough. You see, because your examiner will ask you according to Theravada's teaching. You see? So stick to Theravada's teaching. Don't bring other schools' answer here. So next question is, were the Dharma and Vinaya rules as decided and systematized during a council accepted by all monks? Dharma and Vinaya, excluding Abhidharma, as I say, the Vinaya never mentioned about the Abhidharma. Even in the Sutta, the teaching, no such word Abhidharma in the early text. This one, Abhidharma, came out only after Buddha passed away. The one later. So long as the first council is concerned, we only talk about Dharma and Vinaya. So now the question is, all the monks agree to follow the discitation by Ananda and Upali or not? Not all, but as a Theravada, you have to follow . But during that time, there's no such school called Theravada. During Buddha's time, no such school. Mahayana, this and what, Yana, we don't have. Only Buddha's disciple, that's all. So during that time, even after the meeting, also some monks disputed, not to say disputed, not say that I will not follow whatever you all have decided during the meeting. One of these is Purana. Venerable Purana, he was Arahan, one of the chief disciples of Buddha. Purana. That time when Buddha passed away, he was not there. And during the council meeting, he was not there because he went with his disciple somewhere else. He did not know about this. But by the time he came back to Rajagaha, the meeting was over. Okay, so there was some of the monks who attended the council meeting told him, Purana, say, Bante, our meeting, Buddha passed away and our meeting was over, and Ananda and Upali decided whatever rules and teaching have been taught by the Buddha. So you better follow this teaching, this as agreed, by the 500 Arahant. But what Purana say? Purana replied that, no. I personally heard a lot of teaching and rule personally from Buddha. I follow Buddha for a long time also. So I only have my own understanding, interpretation. So he and his disciple follow his own version and not the suttas and the rules as decided during a meeting. So according to history, later history, Purana and his disciple formed another schools. There was not during his time lah. In fact, 100 over years later, there was one group of Buddhist school. They follow some rules different from Theravada. These rules were about the food, storage of food, cooking in the temples. But this one is not in your syllabus, so we don't bother so much about it. You see, this one is later at one stage. But just let you know that even after the council meeting, not all the monks will stick to the rule, you see, and stick to the teaching. You see. Of course, there's a reason why Abhidhamma appear after that. You see. Question answer. For regarding this council, important things, the causes, why Mahakasapa call this meeting? Why? What are the historical significance? That's all. Examiner, yours I'm not sure because first time they introduced to your higher, to your senior level, but from diploma level or other level, they always ask significant, historical significant. Why is it important? Why? You see, something like that. Maybe your examiner will ask about this. I don't know because I'm not. You see? But for certain teaching, you only learn some essential point, pick up the important issues. That's all. You see? Any other questions?
Brother Yap, I think one in your slides you only mentioned Arahant monks. So is it correct that there is no bhikkhunis there?
500 Arahant, 500 Arahant attended the meeting. But before choosing 499 plus Arahant. But for Ananda attained Arahantship the night before the meeting. So during the meeting is 500 Arahant. Understand?
So only bhikkhu. There is no bhikkhuni.
Bhikkhu, no bhikkhuni. Just how I mentioned bhikkhuni, 5th year after Buddha's enlightenment, and after that, no news about the meeting, this and that. Only bhikkhu, no. Mahakasapa only selected bhikkhu. I don't know why he excluded the bhikkhuni. This one, no, nothing mentioned in the Vinaya text. Why he did not include the bhikkhuni?
Okay.
The examiner won't ask this question because you cannot find the answer from the text. Okay.
Okay, so there's no reason
I
for
also
that.
cannot answer you because I cannot quote anything from the text. I cannot give my own interpretation, you know.
Thank you.
That's an interesting question. Yes, true.
Brother Yap.
Yeah.
Lily here.
Yeah.
Brother Yap.
Okay. Can I ask when I read the 8 rules, rule number 6.
Rule number 6, I have to trace. Memorize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Regarding the female novice,
training, 2 years,
and then receive
2 years training rule.
That
yes.
means that does it mean that the Mahapajapati Gotami accept the rules?
No, that one you don't mix with the two different things. For Mahapajapati Gotami, she so long as she accepted the 8 rules, it's okay already. But for the subsequent prospective nuns, they have to follow, they have to include these 8 rules.
It means that she accepts, but she doesn't have to follow, right?
Don't have to. Consider as fully ordained. You see my slide or not?
That's why. Means fully ordained.
Fully ordained.
Just by saying accept only, but she doesn't need to abide to the rules.
Not applicable.
Not applicable, right?
So long as you accept means automatic, consider ordained. So
meaning that the other nuns will be following.
Even until today.
Yes, understand now. Yeah, thank you, brother.
That's why nowadays today the Bhikkhuni Training Center, I was teaching there. They mentioned here as a sikapan, not straight away after samaneri, then higher ordination, you know. another 2 years as a trainee, you know, apprentice, something like that. Extra, you know.
I can understand now.
During the 2 years, 6 rules only. 5 plus the food. After lunch, afternoon, no food. That 6 rules only. Anything?
Okay.
To join the Bhikkhuni training also can contact Ayah Sumangala. You know Ayah Sumangala?
I have heard.
Sumangala.
I have heard, but at present, no intention to join yet.
He said
Too many attachment to mundane matters. Still learning.
Any other things?
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Brother Yap,
Yes, Kelvin, brother.
regarding Mahapajapati, when she was accepted as a Bhikkhuni, when she accepted the 8 Garu Dhamma, yeah, she went back to her followers, and the followers pointed to her, "You are not really properly ordained." She went back to Buddha and inquired. She went back to Buddha and inquired about this. The Buddha said, when you accepted the 8 conditions, you are already been higher ordination conducted already. Therefore, you are already a high Bhikkhuni. And at the same time, she being alone, that is why the Buddha at that time recommended the bhikkhus to do the ordinations.
It was implied that they have to automatically, they have to the monk to ordain. Otherwise, because I never read that Buddha requested to ordain them. You see? They have to be ordained by the monk, no choice, because alone.
This was this one I read through Bante Kanaleyo and the decline of the Sasana.
Yes. They have to accept monk ordination.
But when the Bhikkhuni order was already in order at that time, the Blessed One, the Buddha, also have confidence that the 4 assemblies, that is the Bhikkhu, Bhikkhunis, the male lay followers and the female lay followers will be the consist of the Buddhist community that will carry on with the Buddha Sasana. And because of this confidence given, she saw, Buddha also saw the Bhikkhuni has been very pure, and they have been following the rules and the training, and that gave him the confidence. So there was a redefinitions of the 500 years and the 1,000 years and the 500 years to the 5,000 years by the later
commentary.
Yes, commentaries. This is redefinitions, but not from Buddha.
So what are you trying to relate? So you are saying...
Sorry?
Or you are just telling a story behind?
Yeah, but the question now is, we already passed already 2,500 years, 2006 already. So the Buddha Sasana, which also consists of this assembly of Bhikkhunis, is still doing fine.
Still doing fine, yes. That's why people ask, yes. Even though in the early text you mentioned 1,000 to 500, but Sasana still going on, but not as before lah. You see?
Yep.
Sasana still on, but not the real Sasana, like Buddha's time lah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you interpret that way lah. First one, Sasana was real Sasana. 2,600 years later, you call Sasana, but not the real Sasana compared to Buddha's Sasana. You interpret also can. you can interpret that way. Depends how you argue, you know. What is the meaning of Sasana? According to Buddha's time, Sasana, his expectation is like what I understand during Buddha's time. That type of purity lasts for 1,000 years, become 500 years. You say now also Sasana, but can you compare the present Sasana and Buddha's time Sasana?
Of course, times has, over the thousands of years, now the developments have taken place in a different line. Yes, of course, I can agree. Like today, we are doing online. There's no such thing as online during Buddha's time. But because of this development, we can still be very proud to say that this Buddha Sasana is well behaved in a way.
Still okay lah.
Yes, it's still we are still following the Nikayas and doing research under Nikayas. So we are not following something that is outside the first council Nikayas that have been laid down.
Maybe Buddha expectation is that no schism. We never expected schism, 18 school, Mahayana, all this. I don't know. Maybe his idea of Sasana may be different from a modern Sasana. Or you just say in general Sasana, Buddhism, the word still exists. Of course, that's another 1,000, 2,000, no problem, you see. Then, any question?
Brother Yap, just now on the charges to Venerable Ananda, right? I remember there was a charge whereby the other Arahants asked him why, he pleaded Buddha to accept the women for the Bhikkhuni, to be a Bhikkhuni.
To be ordained,
Correct. So that's the start of the establishment of Bhikkhuni order that we have discussed earlier on. Can I ask what is your interpretation on this, as in why they have brought they don't like it, you see, they bring this matter to charge Ananda, because I thought
the Arahant, they're not so happy, they charge him, you see.
Correct, because I thought the Buddha has always encouraged oneness of mankind,
I also wonder why, as an Arahant, all Arahants should be pure already.
Correct.
They raise this question in a meeting. Why they charge Ananda?
Correct. So there is no interpretation for that?
The most likely answer is that, according to scholars, the existing Nikaya and Vinaya have been Kaliu, have been added in, certain passages have been reinterpreted. You see, it's not 100% that represent the original teaching of Buddha. After 2,000 over years, 1,000 over years, when the existing texts were compiled, there are a lot of changes. This one is a very well-known fact. For example, you think the present volume of Pali Vinaya is 100% Buddha's word? No, definitely no. For example, you are very well, you already know, first council 3 months after Pali Dipana. Why this thing still included in the Vinaya, and you call Vinaya is 100% Buddha's word? So it's very obvious. A lot of scholars already pointed out so many suttas as well Vinaya have been added in after Buddha's Parinibbana. For the first council, second council, all these things added in the Vinaya, and you call Vinaya Buddha Vachana, no, Tipitaka, Buddha's word. You see. According to tradition, you consider as Buddha's word. According to history, that's different thing. So when you study Buddhism, you have to look from two angles. Whether study from a traditional point of view or from historical point of view. There are two differences. Who will do this? This is another lesson for it. It's not 1 or 2 hours can finish. Bhikkhu Bodhi always says that you cannot be too historical and you cannot be too devotional, traditional. Too traditional, you are only a blind belief, blind faith. Yeah. Everything we say correct. You say, oh, Vinaya 100% Buddha's word. You will say correct. Then people ask you why Vinaya include the second council, first council, the one already happened after Buddha's Parinibbana. You cannot answer. You mean you rely on blind faith, blind belief, too devotional, too traditional cannot, too historical also cannot. You question, are you sure this is Buddha's word? Any evidence? This and that is an obstacle, hinder your progress. So, come back to Buddha's teaching again. Cannot be too historical, cannot be too traditional. Middle part. Oh, Buddha always says middle part. You see, middle part apply to everything. When you study Buddhism also, you have to follow middle part. Not too historical. Are you sure this one any evidence Buddha talk about this Brahmajala Sutta or not? When? Who saw it? You cannot be too, just accept it. But some certain thing you can point out is non-historical, then you cannot accept it as historical. For example, second council, even though included in the Vinaya, you know very well that is that section. Rules, yes, you can accept. Certain things, you very obvious one, you should not accept. Even the Parinibbana Sutta, Buddha mentioned 4 criteria in it. Mahapadesa or something like that. Anything you heard from the monk or from the teacher, 50% you agree, go and trace to your teaching. That's all. That's the attitude. Today's you won't believe 50%. My advice, whatever I say, at least 50%. Go back and check your textbook. But even you check the textbook regarding the Bhikkhunis one, the green book, Narada say they all went to Rajagaha. If you trust Narada 100%, you also go to Holland. I know. Luckily I saw it, cannot be. Even the Chinese monk, there are 2 monks who translated Narada book into Chinese, 2 different authors. Also follow the same mistake, you see. Say they went to Rajagaha. So I have to check, trace back to the original source and found out the mistake. Because in the past, we don't know, nobody brought up this issue. If I don't pinpoint, you go back and check the Vinaya. People say, oh, Mr. Yap, wrong. You, how can you challenge Narada, something like that? You have to quote the sources. Always quote the right source and don't quote the internet. Anything?
Thank you, Brother Yap.
There's certain this issue not in a textbook. You help you to do your research work. So this thing.